What's up, guys? This video is pretty much covering a lot of FAQs. If you have questions, if you're a beginner, or you're just wondering a lot about ropes, this is going to be the video for you. This video is going to be long, but it's going to be very informational. There's going to be lots of things that you might have you probably haven't even thought about. But yeah, I'm here to answer your questions and allow you guys to kind of like make the best decision for yourself. So the first question that I get a lot is, hey, I'm a beginner. Which rope is the right rope for me? And I think that's such a great question. And there's a lot of ways to answer it, but I will sum it down to there is no wrong or right rope. There is only pretty much a rope that I wouldn't recommend starting out with, and that is a heavy rope. So this is what a heavy rope looks like, and we'll talk about this a little bit more in this video, but I just wanted you guys to get a visual of it and see what it looks like. All right, so this is a rope that I wouldn't recommend you start out with. So you can take it from that. Just if you're thinking about getting a heavy rope as your first rope, probably not. And to add to that, it has nothing to do with your physical abilities. It's not that I think you can't use it, because at the end of the day, it's just a piece of rope, and most people can move the rope, most people. But the reason why I wouldn't recommend a heavy rope is because rope flow is not like a cardio first type of thing, or it's not a strength first modality. It's a mobility first modality. And so what I mean by that is, when rope flow was created by Weck method, or David Weck, the purpose or the intention in mind was really for mobility purposes. And so unlike jump rope where it's cardio first, rope flow is mobility first. And so again, picking your rope or your first rope based on like how strong you are might not be the best way to decide what your first rope will be. That's just my recommendation. Any rope would work, just probably not a heavy rope. And then the other thing as well is, if you start out with a heavy rope, regardless of your like strength, there is a big chance that you might learn some like bad habits just because you're compensating for a heavier rope over just having like a not heavy rope. I guess I could say that. So yeah, you can start out with any rope. Honestly, start out with any rope, just not a heavy rope. And eventually, once you've learned the core patterns, basic drills, and things like that, by all means, grab a heavy rope and see, just see what it's like. Next thing is, a lot of people are asking me the sizing on my website. And so there are two sizes that I have right now. I have something called a standard size and a prototype size. The prototype size is not to be confused with only prototype models. I have some ropes like the SMF rope, the Slush Daddy perp, and I have some ropes that don't start with the word prototype, but on the website it does say that it's a prototype size, and I'll show you guys a side-by-side comparison. Now first we'll talk about the standard size. So standard size is essentially the size, standard size ropes are pretty much the size that you guys will commonly see. This is what a lot of people use. This is what was used first. Going back to going back to Weck method, their rope is called the RMT rope. That's a legendary rope that you guys should look into. That's the rope that started it all. And this rope right here, Butter Slugs, is the same size, same diameter. So in case you guys were wondering what that means, what standard size means, that's what I mean. All right. Most people use this. And then I have another size, and it's called the prototype size, and I'm gonna show you guys. And I dropped it on the floor. This rope right here is called the prototype throttle. Prototype throttle right over here. And so I'll give you guys a quick story time. But back in the day, like, I don't know, like a year and a half ago, there was only the standard size and the heavy rope. There were only two for the most part. But my problem was I was outgrowing this size, and then this one was just not, it was just a little bit too heavy for me. I wanted something right in the middle, and at that time no one was really offering that size. And this is when I was trying to do some research and trying to like look for something that would work for me. And that's when I designed the prototype ropes. The prototype, its intention was to sit in the middle of the ropes that you might already have. So most people, and I can guarantee you this, most people would have a rope this size unless their first rope was a slush ropes, because this is the size that really that really took off. I've done some research and stuff, and people also wanted something right in the middle of a standard size rope and a heavy rope. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give you guys a side-by-side comparison with the standard size rope versus the prototype. So you guys can tell, and we'll put this closer to each other so you guys can see it a little bit more. You can tell that the diameter is a little bit thicker than the standard size, but not drastically thicker, right? It's just not like this thick. So for me, when people start out, I would just recommend one of these. You can start with a standard size or the prototype. It's as simple as that. Just choose one. Do you want something thin? Do you want something that most people start out with, or do you want something that that kind of sits in the middle, not too thick, not too standard? I guess I'll say that. I don't want to say this is thin, but you guys get what I'm saying. Do you want something that's like, do you want to start with something standard, most common? That's not wrong either. It's just really whatever you like, which leads me to the next thing. As much as I love that you guys ask me for recommendations and things like that, at the end of the day, I can't tell you what you're gonna like. Just because when it comes to ropes, it's not like buying shoes, right? Like with shoes, you can look at the design online. You're like, that looks like it's gonna fit me well. Ropes are different. Ropes it's something you have to experience yourself. It's something that you need to hold, and it's something that you need to use before you can actually really form an opinion about it. And so I know that that's not really helpful, especially if you're like trying to figure out which rope you want to buy. But that's really just the truth, is that you have to try it. You have to use it yourself for you to know if this rope is the right rope for you. Yeah, so I know that that's not super helpful, but hopefully at least with that level of honesty, you're able to really determine which rope you like. Another recommendation that I usually give to people is like, just pick the rope that's calling your name. That going with your gut feeling, I don't think you can go wrong with that. If anything, especially for your first rope, if anything, you have a place of you have a point of reference for your next rope. And so if you guys purchase a rope from anywhere, and you're like, what, I don't like this, and you come talk to me, at least you can tell me like, hey, I own this rope, and you whatever rope it is. And you know, in my opinion, it's not heavy enough, or in my opinion, it's too thick. Whatever it is, at least you have a point of reference. And I can tell you this much, I probably own like almost I'm just gonna say I own a lot of ropes from other companies like Octomoves, Winding Ropes, and like other like smaller brands. And so if you guys tell me, and also the RMT rope, let's not forget that, by What Method. But yeah, if you guys own a rope, it's gonna be a lot easier for me to like help you determine like, hey, like, oh, you have this rope, it's too light. What about this? Let's try this. Let's try this. But if you're coming from a place where like you don't own any ropes, you've never used any yeah, like if you have no point of reference, my best recommendation for you is to just trust your gut, pick the rope that's calling your name. If you're deciding based on color, that's all good, you know, just pick a rope that's calling your name. Yeah, so anyway, I think one last thing that I wanted to tell you guys is like any rope that you purchase from me is going to be a good rope. I'm not gonna give you like a low quality rope, or you know, I'm not gonna do that. You guys are gonna be getting something that I use myself. And so just know that I would never release something that I didn't believe in. And I would never just sell something. You know, I just wouldn't do that just because my name is on the line, and I don't want people thinking like, oh yeah, like Slush Ropes is just like whatever. Like I want you guys to like actually love the rope. So yeah, any rope you guys get from my website is going to be a good rope. So yeah, hopefully this video helped you guys out. Yeah, just doing this because I get a lot of questions all the time, and I know that sometimes, you know, we want to just kind of like get to know more about what we're buying. And so yeah, I'll see you guys soon, and thanks for listening.